Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Despain, along with Kenny Schrader, Michael Waltrip, welcoming you to the final Inside Nextel Cup show of the year. Last race of the season, everybody has a reason to celebrate, at least one reason to celebrate, from Jimmy Johnson to the lowliest guy working on the last place car. Whether you got the job done or not, this year's work is over. Thursday is Thanksgiving. Did you guys find reason to celebrate in Miami?
I did. Did you?
Yeah, when we go to Daytona, we're all tied for points again.
Yeah.
That's right. Things even right back out.
Right.
Reset the clock.
Yeah, reset it.
Was it a wild night for you guys? I know sometimes for the champion it can be long. How about for you guys?
Sometimes the champion winds up just struggling, having problems trying to maintain that lead and doesn't get to really race.
No, I was talking about the party, but go ahead.
Oh, no. I was talking about the race, but no, the party.
Better to focus on the race, I'd
Yeah,
say.
we
Talk
had no
about
party.
the race.
Did you party? You partied, or did you?
No.
Okay.
You're nervous, aren't you? Because it's live. I did my voice lessons earlier. Unique New York. Unique New York.
I knew that was coming.
On the race was cool to watch. I wasn't in it, didn't make it, and I really appreciated Jimmy Johnson's attitude going into that race because everybody's like, he's got it clinched, and he felt so far removed from that thought. He knew it had to go do the job, and the spring rubber bounces up off the road. I mean, anything can make one of these cars wreck and make you fall out of the race, and he was real fortunate that he didn't have any problems. He ran good enough. He did everything. He didn't even race, like you said. He just survived.
But he can do that because when he's not really racing or in full kill, he can still run
10th.
Yeah.
9th.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, you go all the way back to Daytona, win the season opener, and in contention basically every step of the way. And whenever they needed that shot of momentum, they got it. And then in the chase, the big dip at the beginning and the big comeback, which I thought was as strong as anything I've seen anybody do in a long time.
Well, I guess it was it first 2 or 3 races? A lot of people had him rode off.
Right.
And
he wrecked in the first race, and then in Loudon, remember, got chain reacted. And then the deal at Talladega, if
that was going to be second.
It was going to be a win.
Yeah.
And Vickers helped everybody out by making the championship go right down to the last race. So.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
There must be video. Let's see what we have for a video clip to supplement the activity here. Oh, why, it's the celebration. Look at that. What sets this guy apart? I mean, as a driver, never mind the team and all the rest of it. People talk about Jeff Gordon. They talk about Tony Stewart. They talk about the great drivers. As we look at the points there, what do you see him doing really well?
I think what you have to look at first of all is this is as competitive as it's ever been, and he's sitting there on top. So okay, he's special. We know that. But how did you figure it out? He raced motorcycles when he was a kid and won championships. He came to ASA, didn't really set the world on fire. Then he went to the Busch Series and was just an average guy, it seemed, in the Busch Series. And then he signs with Rick Hendrick, and he just took that opportunity and he's maximized it from the very beginning. Why that is, I think it's because he's smart and patient. He knows he's got a good car, and so he treats it with care. And when it's time to go, he's ready to go.
Yeah, when he came in, if Jeff was speaking, he was listening.
Yeah.
He's just sharp, but he also came in, and they got that same basic cast of characters in that same team, and they've meshed well together right from the get-go.
And it was pretty good stuff to start with. It was the stuff Jeff won the championship the year before.
How would you like that feeling, though?
Yeah.
You're like, I got the cars Jeff won with.
Yeah.
I hope this goes right.
Yeah.
We better go. A little later, we're going to serve up some nostalgic video clips to kind of jumpstart your reflecting, your off-season reflection on the season that we've seen. The season-ending race, the Ford 400, that's comprised of 268 laps at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And on the pace lap, one man who would be champion and one man who has acknowledged that he will never be champion had these conversations with their respective crews.
Four boys, let's go out and have a nice steady and smooth day like we have. You guys are the best, man. I can't thank you enough for putting me in this position. You have a good day's work.
Mark, I want to thank you for everything for the last 3 years, and let's see if we go out in style, go get ourselves a win here, bud. Thank you.
Yeah, let's get it, man. I love you guys, Pat. Give me your heart, your soul, and I gave it back. Let's go get this thing.
Seems like whatever else may be going on in the world and the team or whatever in that last Coming down to the green, everybody gets on the same page, don't they?
Oh, they do. I mean, you usually talk to your team right on that one to go when they give you the one to go, and those guys. I mean, boy, it got to be tough for Mark. I mean, Mark's just never got that championship. I mean, like a lot of people, but boy, he was just there so many times.
So many times.
It's hard to imagine that he didn't win the championship. He was Jimmy Johnson dominant in the early 90s. You know, he was a guy that could just go out there and win on any track. Road course, super speedway, it didn't matter. And to think that Mark didn't ever win a championship, I wouldn't have guessed it when he showed up, you know, to race with Jack.
Let's talk about racetrack. After several cracks at reconfiguration, the promoters have definitely got it right, I think, at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's a very racy mile-and-a-half, and we saw that right from the get-go as they get at it side by side right out of the box. We're going to have Vickers, Gilliland, and Earnhardt Jr. here early on.
They're all right. Look at that, 3 wide, and that's what you get at Homestead, and sometimes 4 and 5 wide on the straightaways because people just know that when they get to the corner, they got options.
I had a real good view of that right there, and it gets a little messier right here as Bobby Labonte came up behind him and couldn't miss him, couldn't get cut left quick enough.
Listen to the 8 team, meanwhile.
Good first couple of laps. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't call 10 the box. Yeah, it's really good.
Usually them guys notice that when you do, but they also notice if you lose 10.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love that. You know, he was just like, I don't know if y'all got a chance to pat me on the back.
I'm not taking any chances.
I'm going to have to do it myself, I think.
Yeah.
Nobody said a word.
Right.
The beer wagon was a rocket in the sunshine and then kind of fizzled when the sun went down. Was that just a junior deal, or is that a trait of the racetrack? Is it pretty weather sensitive or heat sensitive?
The temperature changed a ton there.
We've never seen that.
No.
It was as cool as it's ever been there.
Yeah. And Sunday, when the race started, was as hot as it had been the whole weekend we'd been there. It was never that hot Friday or Saturday, so it made a bigger swing temperature-wise than it had.
When we do this show live, do we not do commercials? I mean, we've been doing this forever.
Let's find out.
Did anybody forget to schedule the commercial, people?
Let's do the bump thing and see if the commercial doesn't pop up right after it. Closest thing to drama for the champion in waiting yesterday. A little bop on the nose that could have been big, but proved not to be. Well, okay, there was this near miss on pit road too. Could have been big. We'll be back.
Inside Nextel Cup is presented by Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel, only from Sprint. Brought to you in part by Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores and service centers. And by Z-Max, performance you can feel.
Fork out of his car, and he's not happy.
I'm pretty sure Sterling Marlin's hairpiece just got down in his eyes and he couldn't see what was going on.
That's unfair.
For the memory reel, and the final Bud Pole of the year goes to Casey Kane. He's familiar with that award. It is his 6th of the season. On 3 of those 6 weekends, he won from the pole. Last night, he was 3 shots, easy for me to say,
unique.
3 spots short of that unique New York. After replacing Rusty Wallace in the Blue Deuce, this has not been a great season for Kurt Busch, and it was not a great day yesterday before he hit the wall the first time, and then it got worse. Round he goes again.
That was the second time he hit the wall. There. He had bounced off the wall earlier.
Watch this. See this little black speck? That would be a spring rubber. Run it. Watch it. It goes right in Jimmy's car. And then right out.
That could have just as easy been in the radiator.
Easy.
Easy.
I think they ought to outlaw spring rubbers.
Why is that?
They fall out all the time. They're everywhere. And I mean, people would just get used to not having them.
If you didn't have them.
If you didn't have them, you didn't have them.
If you'd never had them, you wouldn't know.
Right. What do you think?
I'm not going there. Never mind.
We will move on. Those repairs put the championship hopeful in the back of the field. So for a while, those if the race ended now figures that pop up during the race swung in favor of Matt Kenseth.
Me and Schrader don't like those.
I know you don't.
The
That's why I brought it up.
The race isn't going to end now.
No.
No.
However, it does give you something to think about until it does.
Yes, okay.
But it doesn't.
But it does it. Anyway, let's go ahead and pick up after the restart. We're at lap 19 now, and Kyle Busch is going to take the lead.
He was fast.
Rim riding.
He was real good.
But the man that's on the move right now is Dale Jr.
Get to that in short order. Jimmy had restarted in 39th spot. This is some scary looking traffic. You have to work your way through.
You know what was interesting, Strader, I thought, was Jimmy spent the whole night basically on the bottom of the racetrack. It's safer down there. You know, you're not going to hit the wall like we see other guys do. Then there's just more room to miss a wreck if you're down there. So I think he was taking that approach. Just keep it low and be safe.
The second Texaco star is Montoya. He just touched the right rear of Junior there and got the tire rub, which proved to not be a big deal, I
Yeah,
guess.
it went away. It went away.
Those Goodyear tires are tough. They can even bend metal.
It'll bend the fender back.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it'll bend the fender back.
We have talked hypothetically about Montoya's ability as a potential Cup driver. Now he is a Cup driver. Ran the first lap qualifying. Crew says you're going to need more than that. Picked up 2.5 tenths on the second lap. Qualified 5th fastest among the guys who needed to race in. Impressive, in your opinion, for a guy who's not spent much time in one of those cars?
Well, he's a world-class driver. I mean, obviously, with all his background, and he's with a good team, and they've been doing some testing and stuff. But still, yeah, very impressed that he's made it that quick, and not just being able to pick up on that lap, which he'll be able to pick up in the second lap is big, but just from how he was working within traffic and how he's been running with traffic these last couple races.
Well, I was impressed at Talladega back in October when he ran that ARCA race, because he started in the front, and I was thinking, you know, I'd like to see him fall back and see what he thinks then. And he did all that. He passed that test. The Busch race at Phoenix, he didn't run all that well. It was probably a disappointing day for him as far as that goes, but it was just another notch on the learning curve. And then yesterday, I'd say he gets an A+, because he was very competitive. He understood. They explained to him how to get a free pass, and he got it. And and I think he was having a good day until it all went up in flames.
Which we'll get to. Tony Stewart has led the discussion about how the 33 non-chaser guys should race the guys who are battling for the championship. The next clip makes very clear how the chasers race each other. Hard. Here's Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Jimmy just needed a little bit of space there, and Kevin knew that he probably wouldn't get very aggressive about taking it, so he went to cut him off, and then Jimmy drove one around him. So that's just a matter of maybe Harvick's just jacking with him a little bit, Schrader.
Yeah, it could be. And then, but I mean, they're both racing for the championship at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know, you see moves like that where people give and take, and that early, it was still light outside, so it was early in the race. But I think that was more of a statement than it was anything.
Yeah.
One other Harvick note, quick clarification about the Phoenix winner's alternator problem that we talked about here. The manufacturer spokesman says Kevin's alternator was fine. The problem was that it disconnected from the battery because of broken wire in what he was clear to point out was a team-manufactured wiring harness, and he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that.
It wasn't a good wrench part.
Apparently not.
And it wasn't an Napa part.
Okay,
Didn't come from Federated.
TV was looking for every potential problem for Jimmy Johnson. Didn't matter what it was. Here is an example. Watch closely and find the wiggle.
I think they have production meetings that tell them we need to see if we can make anything out of something on this deal.
If you see that wheel moving, pick up on it.
That's just coming in the pits. That's normal.
That's the Burger King car, Bill Elliott up there ahead of the 5 car.
That's a lot bigger wiggle.
That's a wiggle that hurts Kyle Busch crashing.
And watch, there's
Johnson.
not all the lug nuts on the left front, and the crew calls it. Chad says, whoa, whoa, and then they tighten them up.
And
Lost
he's
his spots.
still servicing the car inside his pit box, as you'll notice.
Although a lot of people couldn't seem to see that. I got a ton of emails wondering why they let him drive out of the pit box. I don't know what. People watch different replays than we do, maybe. Jimmy said something interesting about that. He said, I saw in the tire changer's eyes that he didn't get them all. And he said, I was going for the brake when Chad called.
Looked to me, though, like tire changer was pointing ahead and looking that way, so I don't know. But you can tell when they come up sometimes, but I don't think he'd have been pointing, go ahead. But I heard Jimmy say that.
Yeah, he said that. In his mind, he knew there was a problem. In our minds, we know we need a break.
Another commercial?
Right now, another commercial. We'll have a bit of tire trouble for Junior. A little slow on the right rear. And then we'll have some serious-looking fire trouble for Juan Montoya. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Daryl.
And a crash on the front stretch.
Oh, man, they're rubbing on each other.
All of that from earlier in the year. Now
Hey,
we pick
I
up
can
the
tell
action.
why everybody's got such a bad attitude sometimes.
Yeah, everybody runs over each
Man,
other.
man.
Do y'all do that at the dirt races still?
Yeah,
You get your butt kicked, though, right?
yeah.
You can't
afterwards.
fight at the races. Can't fight at the big car races anymore, so
A lot of
just
stuff
have to
going
take
on
it.
out there.
That's all the more reason to go to the little car races. Get your yayas out. We're going to pick up the action on lap 121. Got a restart here with 3 DEI cars up front. Junior and his teammate Truex did not pit. The yellow car in front is Paul Menard on the tail end of the lead lap.
Junior was up on that high side, baby.
I bet we're going to get a look at that if we're lucky.
He was way up there.
That's fun.
Yeah, he was. I know there was a huge difference between him and second place for a long time.
Yeah, just think how busy he is patting himself on the back now. He's got the lead.
Yeah.
He needed this caution. Because he stayed out on the pit stop, he was out of sync with everybody else, but this let him get back in sync. You like that high line, Michael. Give me some perspective on that. If he's up there doing that, and I'm down here running the same lap times as him, how much faster is he going than I am?
He's going a lot faster, and the top speed is more, and the minimum speed is less. So it's just it's just a faster feeling when you run up there next to the wall. But it's easier. Like I said earlier, Jimmy Johnson's down on the bottom most all night. That's the easy way to go. If you can get your car to work on the bottom, then you're happy. You don't have to go up there. When you're up there, you're searching for something. And Dale Jr. was searching for grip, and he found it, but then...
The only problem is usually when you find that grip, it's right next to that wall.
And you know what else? When you find it right next to that wall, you think, I bet you there's a little bit more just to the right of that part.
Yeah, you just get a little bit closer, there'll be a little bit more grip.
Now, let's
I'm gonna
not
go get me some.
You're getting ahead of the story, boys. You always do that. The good news for Junior is he got the caution that he needed. The bad news for Junior is that the pit stop, when he did get to go in, was not exactly the one he was looking for.
And by the way, the caution wasn't what Blaney needed, but
as a matter of fact,
he had a problem. But Junior has a slow pit stop here on the right rear. You see everybody's gone, and now the Jackman goes, but he loses 7 or 8 spots. And from that time on, Schrader, we never saw much out of Junior anymore. He lost.
Gets a souvenir. The left rear tire left the car.
with Michael Waltrip and Kenny Schrader reviewing the Ford 400, the season finale for the first two-thirds of yesterday's race. It was a series of near misses for Jimmy Johnson, a charge to the front, and then a fade to mid-pack for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Improved performance for Kenseth, although not as improved as he needed it to be. And we pick up the story on lap 188.
Robbie Gordon is the story on lap 188. He won at Baja, you know, the trophy truck.
And turned it around here more or less in front of Jimmy.
That's a big deal, though, winning Baja.
It is a big deal.
That was the second encounter he had with the wall that night.
You saw a lot of people hitting the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
You saw a lot of people in front of you, didn't you?
Yeah, everything that happened was in front of me. That's not funny, Michael.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
with you.
Now, what's happening here? You getting a little low?
Hey, looks like he's got real low air pressure. Must be start of a run, and must have had the car as low as they can get it.
I think when you lower your car as low as you can get it, it helps.
We'll keep
Really?
that in mind.
You're thinking that? You noticed that the last couple of years?
Yeah, I have. I want an explanation point on it this year.
Yeah.
I want to follow that thread, though, because you talked about preferring to run on the bottom because it's safer.
I think
if you're
so.
a championship contender. Is it faster, and is it something you set up for? Do you set up the car to run on the bottom? If it isn't working, you go looking for something else, or is it different from that?
Ideally, I think that's what most of us do. I mean, the preferred line is to hook around that white line with as much momentum as you can, and when you're not working, you keep searching, and you search the rest of the racetrack.
Yeah.
People, everybody'd say, why do you run high? And I said, well, the car won't work on the bottom, so I go up there where it will work. And they said, why don't you set your car up there? I said, I'm trying to set it up for the bottom, and it works perfect on the top. I said, so if I went
At
up
least
there,
you got something that
I got
works
that.
now.
But if I went up there and tried to set my car up, I wouldn't have nothing.
If you got
You'd
it
be running
working,
around.
if you've worked on the setup for the top, you might have something for the bottom. I mean, just going off how your year's been.
Yeah, but it's over, thankfully.
Okay, yeah, okay.
You ever think you could do those football in the frozen tundra, the Lambeau Field? You know that guy that does that?
He's already got that job.
Man, I'd like to hear you do that. Can you do it?
Oh, by the way, you may have heard that Greg Biffle won the big race. Third year in a row that he's done that.
Nice.
And I think it would be time for us to actually see him.
He's won this race 3 years in a row?
Yes, but he wasn't. It's not like he was
Now, you see,
right
look,
there all day.
If you looked at that, he's not coal-bound in that car, I don't think. And it looked like Riggs was, or Kane was.
That's Biffle taking the lead with 54 to go. Okay, Vickers is real loose, right?
Yeah.
So where's Johnson going to pass him? Ooh.
Well, he wasn't going as fast as he thought he should be.
True.
So he just
He
went
did
on
cut him pretty close.
And then Junior pays the Highline Piper. What was it you were saying about looking for a little more grip? Just a little.
It's very close.
It's just right to the right of where he was.
The margins you're working with up there are pretty tight.
The good thing, I guess, is when you're that close to the wall already, you don't hit it very hard, right?
Well, no, that's not good news because hitting it at all messes up your arrow and stuff.
Ah,
So
never mind.
there's no real good news. It doesn't hurt
I take that back. Cautions.
physically.
Cautions.
The driver.
The driver.
Cautions breed cautions. Yellow fever breaking out again late in this one, just as it has in a couple of the races this year. We're going to Ryan Newman next. I think this is chapter 1 of a 2-chapter story, isn't it?
I don't
Yeah, well,
understand.
the leader was right behind him and coming, and I was in front of Ryan here. I didn't see that. I was in front of Ryan, and he was probably trying to go as fast as he could.
You
The leg
think?
was a little
Kenseth
behind the
wants
steering.
to work
Everybody
on the
does
car.
that.
All right, Rob, with the remaining laps, I probably need to be a little tighter. The back end is chattering right now, so I don't know how we're going to do that. Either put a little wedge in or something, I don't know. Well, just whatever we do, just give me 1 can of gas and a quarter of a turn in the left rear. Just let me know what you want to do about pitting. This is where you need to make your money.
He left it up to the big guy.
Well, they had that problem a couple weeks ago in the scanner, remember?
Yeah.
I'm never quarter turn off. I don't know if I can feel a quarter turn.
That's like, I think back to just,
I know, no, take it back. I know I can't feel a quarter.
I think back to just 5 years ago when you used to change springs in 25-pound increments.
Or
now
50.
it's like, yeah, or 50 at the most. Now it's like, I'm a little tight. How about putting 400 pounds of spring in the right rear? Not a 400-pound spring, 400 more than you have. And that's why the quarter round of wedge makes you a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it affects you more when you got a big spring and you put wedge in it. So maybe that's it.
We're going to take a break at that point. We'll follow up on chapter 2 of the Newman-Montoya story. One last chance to adjust the cars and one last example of a surefire way to make the highlight reel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. More memories, some good, some bad. We left you with Kenseth's guys strategizing about how to find a little more speed on that final pit stop of the season. Let's see how that pit stop sequence played out. Kenseth taking 2 with a little air pressure adjustment.
Everybody was on the 2-tire deal here, most everybody. I don't think the championship guy. Oh, the championship guy even decided for 2. That was the call there, Traeger.
Could have been.
What'd you do?
4.
We took 4.
Biffle wins the race off pit road ahead of Kane, Hamlin, Kenseth, and Johnson. They all trail J.J. Yaley because J.J. didn't pit. And so that will put Kenseth 5th and Johnson 6th on the restart. That's bad news for Matt. He doesn't want Johnson right on his tail.
Why not?
He wants him way back there.
Oh, okay, I'm following along. What was your favorite moment of the season, if we can transgress to that?
Of the entire season, when Schrader picked up that piece of pipe, and I thought for that brief moment that he was going to do something with it other than just get it off the racetrack. because I knew he was smarter than that, but
You didn't know which.
you could see the temptation.
Okay, let's move on. I'll give you a chance to answer that question a little bit later.
Why doesn't Chad like 2 tires at that point? He said afterward that was the one point in the race that he was not happy with the way with what he felt like he had to do. How come? What's the concern there?
I think when you're riding around under caution and your hot tires are hot and sticky, they're liable to pick up some debris on them, maybe even cut one. It's just a risk on how your car's going to handle after you do it. So it's a bit of a chance, but it generally works out.
Yeah.
You really rarely see anybody have any major problems.
Well, and you don't want to give up track position. Everybody you were racing was on 2 tires also. So.
Right, exactly. Every year it seems to come down to this. The point leader just wants to get those laps finished, and it never seems to work out that way because things keep happening to the point leader. We're going to get the last little bit of agony here for Jimmy.
Right here, we see, this is the 30 car right here, and that's Juan Pablo and Newman behind them. Not too good.
Well, the only thing you can, they almost wrecked once, and then they were the only 2 back there, and then they wrecked again. So that's weird. But I listened to the comments of Juan. He didn't really seem overly upset.
He had to get out of there in a hurry.
Yeah, he did a good job.
There comes the fire truck. Let's listen to the 17 team joking on the radio during the red flag.
Bob, did I pronounce that right? Pat. Hey, Bob. Going. Just about to get the NFL scores pulled up. Damn it.
Kenseth being a Packer fan, did they win?
No, got shut out for only the second time in 10 starts, and they hadn't done that in their 100 years.
10 starts.
Oh, whatever, how you say
Yeah,
games.
games. 10 starts.
Representatives of the 12, meanwhile, invited to the NASCAR trailer. Some of us inferred, Michael has already implied, though the video is inconclusive, that there may have been some connection between those 2 wrecks.
No, I didn't imply that. I said it's curious.
Oh,
You
okay.
make your own
I take
implication.
that back. I take that back. Some of us inferred, even though Michael did not imply that. We inferred it from the fact that they dragged him to the trailer. Restart comes with 11 to go. It's still not over for Jimmy Johnson. Got Greg Biffle out front now.
Look at all those
Or about
cars.
to be out front.
Check that out. That's so much fun. I watched that Busch race Saturday night. I love watching races. I walked all over that infield watching those cars, and they just go every which way when they get the corner. Watch this. Engine failure.
6 to go. And under caution, Yaley is out of gas. 5th at the time. Gamble came so close to working out.
I don't think so.
No, it's about, what, 9 miles?
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's not so
That's
close.
getting close to 10%.
By now, is Jimmy Johnson sweating bullets, or is he just sitting there calmly waiting for everybody else to get all their problems sorted out so he can start celebrating?
He's got to feel pretty good right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's right near the end. He's got his
Yeah.
competition in sight. I mean, I think right now he's breathing pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like the mindset I was under, Jimmy passed us with about 10 to go or something, right before the last yellow. And it's like, oh, it was during the last yellow. I said, just get by. Just
Yeah.
get by. Please get by. I mean, you don't want to go in there and then you have a problem.
Yeah,
and you
right.
take him. It's like, get by. You know, and the other cars, you don't want them to get by. But it's like him, it's like, get by.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking that same thing.
Yeah.
For the final time this year, the Enterprise turning point of the race, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure there was much of a turning point in this one, but this is the green-white checker. Casey Kane out front when they dropped the rag, but he had nothing for Biffle.
Nope. Biffle was the man. As he's been the last 3 years at that track, I
3
learned
years
tonight.
in a row. Johnson finishing 9th to clinch the championship. And here's what the radio traffic sounded like on the Nextel Fan Scan audio replay.
GG, thank you for picking me, bro. It couldn't have been a better one. You're awesome. Way to go.
Jimmy's response to the now famous story of Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick picking him as the rookie they wanted to put in that new car that Jeff and Rick still co-own, and that's proved to be a pretty good payoff there yesterday, I'd say.
It hasn't worked out bad at all for any of them involved.
Let's take a look at your Parts Plus purse winnings for the final race of the year. See the 5 chase guys there in yellow.
Close to half of them, Mikey.
Right at it.
Biffle and Doug Richard ending some pretty productive years together on a high note.
I'm glad they did that. They've been having a rough time, you know, and they're both very talented individuals. Good to see them have some success.
Truex didn't get enough credit yesterday for his best career finish of second, I thought.
He was good all day, too.
Good rookie bunch in there. Well, we had Boyer and then Stremme, Sorensen, Menard.
Those guys are fast.
Jeff was uncharacteristically off.
He wasn't much help to his teammate, for sure.
Kyle Busch was uncharacteristically into the wall a lot more than
He didn't have a real smooth weekend.
No, it wasn't good.
And there's your final three with Kurt Busch's brother, the first car out of the race at the track where he won the championship 3 years ago. The Busch race is coming up. Yet more fire on the final weekend of the season.
Yeah.
Guaranteed to get you in the highlight reel. And somewhere right around here is when Johnny Benson's championship hopes officially went south.
Jeff Burton spins. Oh, hard lick there.
Oh, come on.
Oh, here it goes.
Shelton's right.
Looks a little dangerous.
It was called the Ford Championship Weekend down in Florida. Indeed, 2 of the 3 championships were decided at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The Busch Series Championship was not one of them. Reed Sorensen, get out of that car.
That's got to hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
That's hot.
Well, and I think probably where he was sitting, his biggest problem was the smoke.
Oh,
But you notice he was just coasting, and then said, okay, I'm going to lock this thing up and get her stopped.
what about Ford Championship weekend? No Fords won any championships, but they all sure won races.
Yeah.
On board with Jason Leffler. He's Stephen Wallace and Jay Sauter hitting a big wreck. Wallace wipes out a row of cones, flunks whatever you call that slalom test, and then takes one of them with him.
Didn't really look like he even cared about those cones at
No,
that point.
no. At that point, the cone's not the biggest problem.
Lap 66, Kyle Busch. Didn't you say he had a bad weekend?
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple more cars before that, wasn't there?
Shane Huffman hit him there. Matt Kenseth goes to the lead.
Carl's a great driver, but Matt was able to put it on him right there.
That was extremely good.
Debris caution, leaders pit. Carl Edwards, fast pit stop, wins the race off pit road. Yahoo!
Yeah, if they weren't going to go green, I mean, if the race would have ended then, you know, Carl would have won. Unfortunately, they went green again.
And Matt said,
And they went ahead and just ran the scheduled distance.
They just went
instead
ahead
of
and ran
ending it
the schedule difference.
took all the drama out of it. Last lap, Jay Sauter catches fire, freezes the running order. Matt Kenseth wins. A lot of fire in Miami this weekend.
Matt Kenseth had a great weekend, would you say?
He had a great year.
He had a great year. Thank you. He's won like how many Busch races? 5 or 6?
I don't have that in front of me, but that sounds right.
I think it's a lot.
Slightly fewer than Harvick, but not a lot fewer. Kevin was pretty ordinary for him, finishing 6th yesterday.
Matt didn't run as many.
No,
A higher percentage
but
of victories.
I don't think anybody wants to go up against that record that Harvick
No.
set this year in the Busch Series.
Montoya 14th.
He finished
Pretty
every lap but
respectable.
one. Did you know that? Harvick finished every lap in the Busch Series except one at Charlotte.
Look what happened as a result. Well, he's won the championship by a healthy margin.
And you know who's conspicuously missing from that page?
One of our partners,
Conspicuously
Kenny Wallace, for the first time in how long?
a long time.
And he's the next person.
Show it.
Bumped out of there by Reed Sorensen. Oh, no, the voices in my head say it's time for the truck highlights. Sorry, Kenny, but do know that we're all thinking about you.
We love you, Herman.
Here we go.
That's Kenny's
Mike
nickname.
Skinner on the pole.
Why is he called Herman? Do you know?
Mike Skinner said if he just kept his nose clean all day, well,
Never mind
That went out the window early.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, that kind of summed up his year. Fast truck, but it ran into more stuff.
Michael, what are you doing here?
Well, you know that part we're talking about? We're right out to the right. There's just a little bit more grip.
How'd that work out?
Well, it actually drove better after this.
Did it?
Listen.
ugly noises.
That's kind of crazy. I was just hoping nobody hit me.
Yeah.
Now watch this. This is what happened to Johnny.
Johnny Benson, number 23, didn't have much of a chance coming in.
You had to know that old Jimmy Johnson was watching that truck race thinking,
Oh my gosh.
that could have just easily happened to me.
Benson's on board. Mark Martin taking the lead. Nemechek high, Mark on the bottom.
That's
Brendan gone there.
Brendan going.
But Nemechek was real fast. A little more problems for Johnny tonight.
His tire went flat finally.
Yeah.
That's
had
me
enough
up on the
trouble
outside.
already.
See me?
Yeah.
I told you it got going better.
You were still in the fraction there.
That's why I was heading the right direction.
Mark Martin, how many truck races did he win this year?
He won 6.
Out of?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Less than.
Oh, we should mention this guy. The Onion wins it.
That's good.
Todd Bodine's championship.
Todd's been fighting this battle as long as anybody has, and just to get a championship like that, I'm happy for Todd and that team. They did a great job.
Martin winning again. Gone and Darnell.
Best finishes of the year for both those cats.
Sprague with a top 5.
I got me
Lester 11.
I got me an $8,200 check.
Cool.
I wonder what I'm gonna do with it.
Put it up against that. Never mind about that. Standings.
Now let me tell you something. Don't worry about all the Toyotas in the first 6 spots, because a Ford finished second in the owners' points with 3 rookie drivers and Mark Martin driving it by only 35 points. So Mark was on it.
But only 35 points out of first?
Out of first.
Woo.
He almost won that championship. Let's come back after this, Dave.
Good idea.
To be a part of NASCAR, where hanging around the cars, the drivers, and the teams is part of your job?
And then Speed wants you for a new show.
Speed Road Tour Challenge. We're looking for 4 people to hit the road and live the NASCAR lifestyle. You're going to compete to prove you're NASCAR's biggest fan. Plus, you'll get into NASCAR like only an insider can.
Or here. Or even here. In the driver's meeting. Open casting calls are coming soon. For complete details, visit speedtv.com.
Speed Road Tour Challenge. Only on Speed.
Welcome back to a little Z-Max discussion of points, prospects, possibilities for the 2007 season. I think we should probably start with the driver points. We'll run down through about 11 through 40, I guess. How's that sound?
Stuart.
You know about the top 10.
Stuart clinched that darn money there in a hurry, didn't he? With that 11th spot.
Big time. He checked out in those final 10
Now look,
races.
21st. Look how close all this is down there. But Martin Truex and Riggs both slipped ahead of Bobby Labonte getting that top 20. Bobby falling out early yesterday after that crash.
Dave Blaney really rebounded the last third of the year.
He did. He finished 26th in the points. Unfortunately, they only played 25 spots.
Yeah.
Get another shot at it next year. That's as you said. Everybody goes even. Schrader. Who else is back there? Michael, we got you.
Well,
but you are much more interested, I suspect, in the owners' points.
No, I'm not really interested in that either.
Yeah, he's interested in that next year.
I'm interested in the fact that I never have been to parts of these garages I'm seeing this year.
Well, but there was an issue here with Kyle Petty and the Begin Racing team, whether who was going to end up with that precious 35th spot.
Yeah, and I'm glad Kyle got it for many reasons. But I think that next year, Sterling, with all the new organization that they have going on there, he's going to be a guy that will be tough to beat.
Well, and they took a car to Daytona last year for Bill Elliott and safely got it into the Daytona 500 on speed. So, but still, I mean, you don't want to leave there 36th in points and get to think about that all winter.
You have to think about it, yeah.
That's why I'm glad I'm 38th.
Yeah, because if you were 36, you're thinking
I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, you're going crazy. This way, it's like, it don't make
Give me a 30-second take on whether it is easier for Jimmy Johnson to win that first championship or to defend the championship.
We were
got this
talking
one
about
figured out.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
And from my 22 years and your 20. We're thinking that first one's really tough.
Yeah.
And we're thinking if we get through that first one, them other ones will just fall right in there. But from our experiences, that first one seems to really be tough.
First one's the one that really has troubled me.
That's why we do this show.
Yep.
You get insight like that. It doesn't cost you a dime. And you can get a free picture of the guy who actually did win the championship for the final time this year. Picture of the week, go to INC page, speedtv.com. Use the link, send an email, put the word picture on the subject line. One entry per email address, please.
Inside Nextel Cup is presented by Nextel. Get closer to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series with Nextel, only from Sprint. And brought to you in part by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up.
Take about 7.5 seconds each to say goodbye.
Just looking forward to coming back. I think we're coming back, and I promise I'll make Mikey get his hair cut over the winter.
I want to say thanks to all the camera folks that in the sound room and Jeff, people in the backgrounds of this show that make it work. We really don't
put up with you.
We don't really do anything.
Here's what you
Speak
want to
for
have
yourself.
go wrong on championship weekend if something has to. Look at the cork.
I
We'll see you
hate when
next
that
year.
happens.